Hi, I'm Julie from St Wilfrid's, and I'd like to share with you the most amazing thing that God has ever done for me. In 2008, I had an eating disorder called anorexia, and I really wanted to be healed from it, to be set free from it. But I knew that I couldn't do that on my own. And I can remember lying in bed one night and just crying out to God and asking him to help me. I can remember saying to him, please God, please heal me. I really want to be set free from this, and I know that I can't do it on my own. You're going to have to help me with this. Please heal me. And you know what? He did. He didn't do it in a flash and it was completely over. It was tough, but God healed me. He set me free. And here I am 12 years on, not struggling with that anymore. Completely healed from that. Because when we ask God to help us with something, he does. He enters into that with us. He enters into that pain or whatever it is that we're going through. And he can bring us out of that. But we have to let him. We have to let him in. We have to admit that we can't be self-sufficient and we can't be independent all the time. We need him. We need him to help us. At that time, I hadn't even really thought that I'd like to one day get married and have children. That wasn't even on my radar. I had boyfriends, but I never thought about marrying any of them. And I wasn't one of these girls who grew up dreaming of my wedding day. That just wasn't me. I just wasn't that kind of girl. But in 2016, I realised that actually I'd quite like to get married and to have children. And so again, I asked God and said to him, God, I'd quite like to get married and have children. Please help me with that. Please make that happen. And he did. In 2018, I met Dan, who's now my husband, and we got married in 2019. And I can remember that year when we were going out before we got married, I can remember being quite scared and worried that maybe we wouldn't be able to have children of our own, because when you have an eating disorder, quite often your periods stop. And so I was worried that time when I hadn't been having periods, maybe that would affect my ability to be able to have children naturally. But God was faithful to what I asked him for. I asked him to get married and to be able to have children. And a few weeks after Dan and I got married, we found out that we were expecting our first baby, and they're due in about 6 weeks' time. And so God answered that prayer. But again, I had to go to him with that. I had to open up my heart to him and be real with him and tell him what it was that was on my heart, what it was that I wanted more than anything. And so I just wonder if there's something on your heart today, something that you need help with, something that you're struggling with right here and now. And I just really like to encourage you to speak to God about it. Speak to God in the language that you normally use. And whether you're used to praying or you've never even thought about praying before, never even thought that you could actually do that, never thought that it was even real to you or whatever, I just really encourage you to just open up your heart to God. And just know that whether it's the 100th time that you've spoken to him about this issue, or you've never spoken to him about it before, or never actually had a conversation with him before, please just know that he hears you. He listens to every single word that we speak to him. He doesn't forget what we say to him. And I just encourage you to just ask him, whatever it is, just cry out to him, just do whatever you need to do, because he listens. And when we go to him, he can heal us. He can take away that pain, that suffering, whatever we're going through. But sometimes he doesn't answer our prayers in the way that we would like him to. And that's really tough, and that hurts. But even when he doesn't, he's still with us there in that pain, in that suffering. And sometimes we don't know why he doesn't answer our prayers. And maybe we'll never know in this lifetime. The other thing I'd really like to encourage you to do is to think about what's the most amazing thing that God has done for you. Think about it for a moment. The most amazing thing. And when you've thought about that, I'd really like to encourage you to share that with somebody else. Who knows? It might really encourage them, whether they're a Christian already or whether they've never really thought that God would be relevant to them. That most amazing thing that God has done for you might just inspire somebody else, might just connect with somebody else. Why not try it and see what happens? Thank you.